Hello, 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 and welcome back. I'm Shakia, and in this episode, we're going to talk about season 7, episode 12 of Love is Blind. Let's get into it. Okay, so I actually haven't done recaps of the episodes for this season of Love is Blind. I've wanted to, I've been watching, but I just, for whatever reason, didn't. But I watched the most recent episode. This is the wedding episode. And so I wanted to talk about it because we are gearing up, those of us who are watching Love is Blind, we are gearing up for the reunion. And part of the reason why, honestly, I was like, I don't even want to watch the wedding episode because things have changed so much within a single episode that I was like, what's the point? Because we don't even know what's going to hold, right? If any of these relationships will make it to the reunion because things have just been all over. So the episode begins with Ramses and Marissa. And if you watched episode 11, you know that that episode ended with the two of them having a conversation. And essentially, he was saying that he has second thoughts. This new episode begins with the continuation of that conversation. He has second thoughts. He went and had a conversation with some folk, and he said, they let me know how much my ex was hurting after our divorce, and I don't want to do that to you. And Marissa is looking like, dude, don't fragilize me, right? He's looking at him and she's like, are you kidding me? We're focused on what it is we're building. And he says, and then he also says, I don't know if I can, on a day-to-day basis, maybe manage and deal with your energy. Which, listen, no tea, no shade to Marissa. She seems like a lovely person. But that was something that I noticed. Her energy is level 10 majority of the time. It's a lot. That can be a lot for somebody to take care of, or somebody, excuse me, to even for the person, for themselves, right? That's a lot to deal with. And then for their partner on an everyday basis, if your energy also isn't high like that, then that could be too much for a person. But even then, I'm like, Ramses, can you find a middle path here? If you genuinely say you love her and you fell in love with her for who she is and who she was in the pods, because that's who she was, she had that high energy even in the pods. How do you then say, I don't know if I can do this for, on a day-to-day basis? And he goes, it's not you, it's me. She goes, no, you're literally saying it's me. You don't know if you can deal with me. And she said, I just want somebody to choose me. Oh my God. Marissa, I felt so many emotions during that scene, but I just felt her pain. She was hurting. I mean, listen, I know reality TV, sometimes with these shows, it's not all that real. That scene felt real. That the emotions and that the hurt, the pain that she was displaying felt so real. And Ramses and I'm wondering, if maybe he also was second guessing the decision to go through with the wedding, or the marriage rather, because Marissa was talking about possibly moving the timeline up in terms of having kids. And he's saying he wasn't really comfortable with that, but he didn't want to use protection. She didn't want to get back on birth control. We know that Marissa has a history of being in the military. And that's something that Ramses has, that he struggles with. Not that she was in the military, but I guess if maybe she had the thought of returning at some point, of serving at some point, because there are certain ideologies that he doesn't agree with. There was something else where there was a difference between the two, and I can't remember right now. I can't recall right now. But I'm wondering if these differences were illuminated through the conversations he said he had, and then he came to the realization or the decision that he couldn't move forward. They grew on me. The Marissa and Ramses, they grew on me, and I was hoping that they would find some sort of common ground. He did say that in the past, he would go purely off of his emotions. That's the way he would operate, and that didn't always work out well for him. Now, as the therapist in me was like, oh, you're an emotion mind. That's a conversation that I have with clients all the time, to be able to notice when we are in emotion mind versus what we call our wise mind. So I can respect him for identifying that. And however, is there a way for you to find when you get in your wise mind, is there a way for you to find a middle path? Because it didn't seem as if the two of them could not work. I think that if they wanted to, they could have. And I think Marissa was willing, and maybe a little too willing, honestly. So now as I sit here, I'm thinking, well, maybe not. Because she was willing to compromise in some areas, and perhaps he could have been more willing to compromise as well. Obviously, we don't want to compromise to the point where we sacrifice our own happiness or dishonor our boundaries or self-respect or anything like that. But I think it was doable for them without sacrificing who they are, So unfortunately, they didn't get married. And I mean, based off of episode 11, that's not a surprise. Marissa absolutely was heartbroken. We see that she tossed her ring on the floor because the camera folks zoom in on it. We hear her on the phone with her mom. She's crying. Her mom is like, what's the matter? And she goes, he called off the wedding. And the mom is like, what? And I'm just like, damn, I know Marissa's gonna, she's probably gonna have to not save face, but there are definitely going to be conversations, because we know it took a minute for her mom to actually adjust to this idea, because her mom is kind of anti-marriage, maybe anti-love, I don't know. And so I'm hoping that Marissa had the support that she is deserving of during that time. I'm so interested in hearing where she and Ramses are, where they are at this point, because I guess it's been a year since they filmed. So I want to hear from them in the reunion. And then we have Ashley and Tyler. Ashley and Tyler. Now, if we didn't know what some of us know now, if we've been following them, and I didn't seek out this information, it found me, and then I started watching. Maybe I'll do a separate episode on it, or I'll do maybe a short just to catch you up just in case. But we know this season revealed, or in this season, excuse me, Tyler revealed that he has 3 children. He said that he was just a sperm donor, that his children don't even know his face. We now know that that is not the truth. So watching this wedding scene, or these wedding scenes with he and Ashley, were really difficult. But I'm actually jumping ahead. Before we get to the wedding, they had the bachelorette parties. The guys got to go to watch an NBA game. It looked high energy, lots of fun. The women, they did a glamping pajama party, and it seemed okay. But I felt like they could have gotten a little more too. Like, these guys got to be in this suite and like all the things, bells and whistles, all of that. And the ladies, I don't know, it wasn't given all that it could give. So I hope that they had a good time. But then we fast forward, again, Tyler and Ashley. So what I was starting to say was, if we didn't know what we know now about Tyler, this would have been beautiful. But I was watching it and I was annoyed, because I'm saying, Tyler, did you tell Ashley the full story about these 3 kids? Because since these episodes have aired, when Tyler revealed that he did in fact have 3 kids, but he said that he was just the sperm donor, the mother of his 3 children, she has spoken, okay? And he is not keeping it 100. There's an element of truth to what he's saying, but that is not the full truth. And even if he didn't do it on camera, because honestly, those types of conversations he didn't have to have on camera, to be honest. Even when he revealed to her that he had 3 kids, I kind of wish, obviously it made for good TV, but like at the end of the day, these are babies, these are kids. These are people with real lives. I kind of wish that, or not kind of, I wish that he would have told Ashley in private. So even if he told Ashley the full truth, but we didn't get to see it, I would be okay with that. I am hoping he told Ashley more of the story. Because remember, during a previous episode, Ashley asked Tyler, do they know what you look like? And he's like, do they know what I look like? No, that's not true. We have photographic evidence to show you have spent time with these babies. Sir, can we just take a step back? I'm jumping around a little bit because this episode in general, a roller coaster of emotions. And I haven't watched a season, honestly, I haven't watched Love is Blind since the first season. And I remember enjoying that season because it was new. I love reality shows like this. I like the social experiment kind of shows. Love it. Okay. But this show, this season, they were unhinged. It was a lot happening. We had Hannah, who said she raised Nick. She said she turned him into a boy and from a boy into a man. And we had Nick, who was immature. He kind of led with his self-perceived swag or what have you. But I kind of knew they weren't going to work out. That felt like a mismatch. Hannah seemed a little bossy, a little mean. We had Monica and Steven. Steven, who was like, I don't know, 0.001% black, who seemed to be really excited about that. But he then cheated on Monica with sending these salacious text messages, these scandalous text messages to somebody allegedly during a sleep study. Sir, how? Because he said he was drinking during said sleep study. Or maybe I didn't hear that right. Because what? But no buts, because Monica didn't deserve that. Monica also was a little bossy. I think she was demanding a lot, and that keyword demanding a lot from Steven. And it just felt like a lot. It felt like a lot. Of course, we had Tim and Alex. Tim, who came off as cold and distant, but also really direct. He said, look, I can't see a day where I stand up there and I say, I marry you. But Alex also wasn't innocent. So this season, it was a lot. And in many ways, though, it shows us we're looking at it. We're looking at these other people's lives, but this is a lot of what's going on in the dating world. This is a lot of what happens in relationships. Okay, I know I'm kind of hopping all over. Maybe we'll do a separate episode talking about relationships. So back to Tyler and Ashley. Tyler is really nervous. He's crying a lot. He's saying that he wants to get married, but he's unsure until he knows that she's going to say, I do. When he's when he's getting himself together for the wedding, he's with his buddies. And I think was it at the bachelor party or right before the wedding? But he's talking to his friends and they're like, oh, so she trying to have kids? Y'all trying to have kids right away? Sir, he has kids. They should probably wait. He has 3 babies already. So the question is, are y'all trying to have a 4th? Now, I know the other 3 obviously are by a different woman, but that was a question. But anyway, he's crying. It felt very performative considering, again, what we've heard so far about his situation. And Ashley seems like a sweet woman. And I'm like, come on, don't do her dirty, Tyler. Don't do that to her. Just keep it a buck with her, whatever's going on. And I'm wondering if you're so nervous and if you're crying because you haven't been 100 with her. Ashley, of course, looked very beautiful in her dress. She said, somebody I think was asking if her dad was walking her down the aisle or if he was coming. She said, yes, he's coming. He's going to walk her halfway. Then her mom is going to take over and give her away. And she's like, he's lucky he got that. So I guess there was a period of time where she and her dad maybe were not as close. They have it sounds as if, they've been working to build their relationship. And so she did allow him to participate in the day. Now, as they are exiting the building, right, so that she can walk down the aisle, they're trying to walk in or they walk through the doors together, but the doorway is so tight. I'm like, oh, man. But nonetheless, it was a beautiful, beautiful place, just beautiful. She looked gorgeous. They, of course, say I do. That didn't come as a surprise because they seem to really love each other, which is why I want Tyler to keep it a buck. I want Tyler to be honest with Ashley all the way about what's going on so that she can genuinely have choice, right? She's going based off of what she knows. She's going based off of the information that she has. So I wish them the best. Again, I'm looking forward to see what's up with them during the reunion. Lastly, we have Taylor and Garrett. Are they not like the breakout couple? I know early on, I mean, if you're like me, we were rooting for Ashley and Tyler, even though there definitely were some things about Tyler that I don't like, right? Like some things, and I was like, Ashley, you gotta watch out for that. Something seems off, but we'll talk about that later, perhaps in a different episode. But anyway, Taylor and Garrett. Taylor's dad came over to Garrett when as Garrett was getting ready for the wedding, and he was like, "Can you help me with my tie?" And they share a really special moment with one another. And essentially the dad welcomed him into the family. Taylor's dad welcomed him into the family and said that he and his wife would always be there for Garrett and Taylor. And then we see Garrett have a conversation with his parents, who still had some reservations. And his mom is like, "Look, you clearly have thought about it. I can't tell you what to do." So essentially she was saying, "I'm going to support you." And they shared a heart to heart moment and hugs, and it was crying, and it was just a beautiful moment to see people find common ground and understanding, even if you can't fully understand somebody's choice. But there was a level of compassion and respect that was just phenomenal. And I'm like, listen, we all be really, really great if this is how we could communicate, right? Where we can show compassion and respect, even if we can't fully understand where somebody is coming from, but we can still, be in our humanness with them, so to speak. Oh, also we find out that Garrett and Taylor are getting married on the same day as Garrett's parents on the 13th. So that was really cool too. I'm wondering if maybe producers had that information. I'm also wondering, do the participants get a say on certain activities? Like, did they get a say in the venue that they chose to have the ceremony? Did they get a say in the bachelor and bachelorette parties and activities? I'm wondering about that. Or is it, hey, you got to show up at this time and this is what we're going to do? I'm curious. But anyway, they get married. Taylor and Garrett, they get married, and I love Taylor's dress. I think it's very fitting. It fits her style, her personality. And they say, "I do." And they say, "Yes, love is blind." Huh. Now, come the reunion, if Taylor and Garrett are not together, I'm going to be really, really surprised and upset by that. I'm always rooting for most people because I want people to have what they want, right? I want them to have love and all that jazz. So I genuinely am rooting for the couples, even the couples that didn't stay together. I hope that this experiment helped them to learn more about themselves and, connect with themselves more deeply, but then also they can utilize that in future relationships. And I'm also curious to see if anybody actually got together, if they got back together, those who split up, or if any of the castmates got with a different castmate. Messy child. Sometimes I am just messy. But I'm wondering, that's essentially it. There wasn't too much that was revealed in this episode. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about the couples and about the couples that said, "I do." They said, "Yes, love is blind." What are your thoughts? I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you for being here. And I hope you come back for the next one. Bye for now.